Well, it's time for another one.
Yeah, you ready to do this?
I guess so. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to Nugatory Conversations, episode 18, the big 1-8.
Here we are again.
We're doing it. We're doing it because we are contractually obligated. We have made a deal with the devil to make us mid-tier podcasters, but the caveat was that we have to do this for a while before we can get there.
It's a great deal. We came out on top. The devil got took.
Yeah, that guy. What a fucking idiot. It's like you've never made a deal with someone before. All right, what did you like from this week?
Yeah, man. Quick shout out to another clipping single. Came out yesterday. Also very good. But the thing that I was going to pick for this week, I have to because it's pretty much the only thing that I've consumed over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is this podcast called Knowledge Fight.
Okay, yeah.
I can't stop listening to it.
Yeah.
It's just the only thing that's been in my headphones. It's basically this podcast where these two dudes listen to episodes of InfoWars.
Yes.
And pull sound bites and clips and then talk about either how crazy he is or how horrible he is in the things that he says.
Right.
And it's both very funny and very disturbing at the same time.
It really is.
And I've always wanted to be able to consume Alex Jones without giving him views or money.
Yeah, and this is a good way to do it.
And also, I mean, every episode of InfoWars is 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And so weeding through that to find like the golden bits is just not worth my time.
Yeah, for sure.
But they're doing it for me.
Yeah,
and so now I just get, it's like the best of Alex Jones every week.
Yeah, well, and they're also like, they're giving commentary on it.
Oh, yeah,
so it's
for
not
sure.
just like repurposed Alex Jones or anything.
Yeah,
like,
no,
they're
definitely.
acknowledging like, this is insane. Also, really harmful. A lot of people buy into this shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, I won't go into any details or anything. You just listen to it.
Yeah.
But it's really great. I think the reason why I can't stop listening to it is because he says this insane shit and has these horrible opinions on stuff that sound absolutely crazy. And then immediately there's people there to be like, yeah, this is absolutely insane. Like, you're not, it's like that immediate validation of, I'm not the only one who thinks this guy is crazy, right?
Right,
You know
of
what I
course,
mean?
yeah.
There's
Well, and
people
it's
there.
also, John Oliver on Last Week Tonight did a really awesome piece on him and basically exposed him for what he is, which is just like, I mean, he's a grifter, he's a salesman.
Oh, yeah.
So it's basically he convinces you there's a problem and then tries to sell you a solution.
Yeah.
So like one of his most famous rants is about like, they're putting chemicals in the water that are turning the freaking frogs gay.
Yep.
And that's normally where the clip stops. But if you let it play out a little longer, seconds afterward, he tries to sell the audience a water purifier.
Oh, good.
So like that's what he was trying to do. Yeah.
He does this whole thing where he's selling T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, if you're like low income or whatever, you know, maybe just buy one. But if you're middle class, buy like 100. Resell them to your friends.
How at that point do you not realize you're being conned?
Yeah,
like it's just
ridiculous.
A massive fucking grift. Like it's the same shit with like the whole Steven Crowder thing. Like him using free speech as a promo code.
Yeah,
is the most like 2019 right wing thing I have ever heard.
For sure.
Like
so give that if you want to laugh and also cry
and bang your head against the wall.
Yeah, give it a look. It's very entertaining. What did you enjoy this week?
Yeah, so this wasn't necessarily from this week, but this was something I wanted to talk about before, just never really got around to. But it is also a podcast, another one. It's a podcast called Imagined Life.
Okay.
And basically, it is a second-person narrative guessing game.
Okay.
So you are given a description of someone's story from humble beginnings to how we know them today. You're given this story and it's told in the second person. So it's like, okay, you go and do this. And then you have this conversation.
Oh,
and do that. And it is just really interesting, immersive storytelling, but you don't know who the person is until the very end.
All right, neat.
So you go into it like so it's basically a guessing game.
Yeah, you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so you're given little hints along the way as to who this person might be, but it's never directly said until the very, very end. Typically in the last 10 minutes, they get into stuff that they're like
really
the most famous for. So it's like, oh, it's this person.
Yeah.
So usually by the last 10 minutes, I can piece it together, but it's just incredibly well done. So the two hosts are Virginia Madsen, who is an Academy Award-winning actor, most famous for her role in Sideways.
Okay.
She was Paul Giamatti's wife in that.
Gotcha.
Which I haven't seen that movie, but
Yeah.
apparently it's terrific.
Tyler loves it.
And then the other host is Robbie Daymond, who you might not know his name, but you definitely know his voice. If you've watched anything animated over the last 20 years, there's a pretty high probability that you've heard this dude's voice. Right now, he is the voice of Spider-Man in the animated series.
Okay.
But he's been in a ton of stuff. He has a very recognizable voice. Like, I was instantly like, is that dude? And then I looked him up. I'm like, oh, yeah, it is.
Nice.
It rivals Welcome to Night Vale in being like the most immersive podcast I've ever listened to, because there is such an emphasis on sound design.
Okay.
So they always do a really good job of taking the listener to that place. Like whatever it is, whether it's like this person stayed at a hostel for this amount of time, so they'll have all the sound effects that go along with that, or it's just really cool. And it's just such a unique idea. Like, I don't really know of any other podcast that's doing anything like that, let alone to the level of quality that they're doing it.
Yeah, that sounds super entertaining.
And it's being put out by Wondery. They're the same podcast company that put out Dirty John and like Real Crime Profile, which we talked about on here before. So they've got budget and they're getting to make this really cool thing. It's just really cool. So Imagined Life, give it a listen. I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, I'll check it out. That sounds like fun. There's not a lot of podcasts that ask you to participate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really true.
A really fun idea.
It's weird because it has, again, like I compared it to Welcome to Night Vale. So Welcome to Night Vale is obviously completely fictional, but this has that kind of same sense of like adventure and wonder of a fiction podcast, but it's actually like based on real historical fact.
Right, yeah, it's storytelling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's just really cool immersive storytelling, and I will definitely say it is better than any biopic I've ever seen.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's weird that the music biopic is just as popular as it is, especially because, I'm obviously far from the first person to make this point. Patrick Willems did a great video on this exact topic, but in a world where Dewey Cox,
Walk Hard,
when Walk Hard already exists and is a perfect parody of the music biopic, the fact that they're still being made in the exact same way, I was going to say
the formula hasn't changed at all.
Yeah, it hasn't changed at all. Like, that movie holds up now, maybe even better than ever, because it is like it's playing on a formula that is still so apparent. Exactly. Like, it has not changed even a little bit.
Not at all. I mean, and they're really popular movies.
They really are. No, like Bohemian Rhapsody got
huge.
The fucking best editing Oscar, which
geez.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then like we just got an Elton John one. They just keep coming. I mean, people keep going to see them. So
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's like it's just not particularly interesting. Like, I don't know. I feel like I would rather watch a documentary on these musicians rather than get a paint by number, like a paint by number retelling of their story, and not even necessarily the most interesting parts of their story, just the parts that fit that formula the best. And it's like, you guys are just going seeing the same movie over and over again.
Over and over again.
I mean, I guess maybe you could make the same argument for like a lot of superhero movies.
Yeah.
That it is in a lot of ways just kind of the same
formula.
shit over and over again. Just different superhero, different jokes, but the same type of joke.
Yeah, exactly. But we're all tired of that too. So
That's the thing. But at least there are people that are, or you see more vocal criticism of superhero movies than the music biopic.
Yeah.
But music biopics still bring in buckets and buckets of money.
Absolutely.
So.
I don't know. I guess it's people just want to see their hero, I guess, you know?
Yeah. I honestly equate it to like large scale soap operas for nerds.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, I want to go watch my stories.
Yeah.
Like I want to go see the characters I like doing cool stuff.
Right.
Like just do the thing I like. Like I just don't really, because that's what, like obviously, I mean, soap operas aren't good. I mean, maybe, are soap operas good?
I don't know. I've been thinking about checking them out.
Yeah, my mom was like really, really into The Young and the Restless for a long time. It's
I think my grandma was.
It's where she got my name from, was
a
character on that show, yeah. But like, I don't know, like I just don't know. I've seen a lot of episodes of it just over the years because my mom watched it for such a long time. But even she, at a certain point, was like, yeah, it's just kind of the same
Rehashing
thing.
the same, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's the same shit, and it has been for like 20 years at this point. Like,
yeah,
I don't feel super compelled to keep up with it anymore.
when there's so much of it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So it's like this. I mean, it really is. It's just a universe. Like it's the Young and the Restless universe. It's not cinematic technically, but
Right.
like, yeah, it's this universe where there's different eras, and like some characters will come back, but they're old now, and will reference like old plot lines and shit. But like, even then, you can pretty much just jump in wherever, and it's fine. Like,
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I mean, is Seventh Heaven a soap opera?
I think technically no, but ostensibly yes.
Right, yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't think it. Okay, now I'm curious. What is the criteria for a soap
really
opera?
have no
what
idea.
makes something a soap opera and something not a soap opera? Let's actually find out. Okay, so a soap opera is a radio or television serial dealing especially with domestic situations and frequently characterized by melodrama and sentimentality. The term soap opera originated from the radio dramas being sponsored by soap manufacturers. A crucial element that defines the soap opera is the open-ended serial nature of the narrative, with stories spanning several episodes. One of the defining features that makes a television program a soap opera, according to Albert Moran, is that form of television that works with a continuous open narrative. Each episode ends with a promise that the storyline is to be continued in another episode. In 2012, LA Times columnist Robert Lloyd wrote of daily dramas, although melodramatically eventful, soap operas such as this also have a luxury of space that makes them seem more naturalistic. Indeed, the economics of the form demand long scenes and conversations that a 22 episodes per season weekly series might dispense with, and half a dozen lines of dialogue may be drawn out, as here for pages. You spend more time even with minor characters. The apparent villains grow less apparently villainous. Yeah, so I guess the difference would be, while there are technically seasons, it really is just
A continuous story.
just completely continuous.
Yeah.
Whereas like a show like Breaking Bad, would be like you have a season, and that is obviously things are going to carry over, and it might
that's
end on a
the story.
cliffhanger or something. But that is the story for that season. And then this next season is going to go somewhere different, presumably with some new characters and new arcs. Whereas like, I guess there are technically arcs in a soap opera, but not in the sense that we're used to.
Yeah,
like,
it's not defined by the season. It's
exactly.
defined by when that particular story comes to an end.
Yeah, it's far less concise.
Yeah.
and less clear cut, and it's more. I mean, I'm as I'm describing it, I'm just picturing like a river. Like it's just it's just always
Continue-
it's just
yeah,
going. It's just fucking going. Like none of it's that important, but you can just kind of jump in.
I guess that's why Seventh Heaven wouldn't be, because
Right.
it's very self-contained episodes.
Yeah,
even
yeah,
though
each
there
episode
is
is-
an overarching
Yeah,
storyline.
yeah.
Each episode has its like specific plot that it's following, and then the next
Yeah.
episode has a different one.
So I guess there's no such thing as an anthology soap opera, because you couldn't just have episodes that aren't related. Like they have to be related. For me, the defining trait of the soap opera is the type of camera that's used.
Sure,
Because it has a really distinct look.
does,
like it
definitely.
has it like, I don't know how to describe it other than like whooshy. Like the way you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
the way they move around. It's just like this, it's super, I don't know if it's running at a high frame rate, or maybe it's like lower resolution but higher frame rate.
Yeah,
so it's
maybe.
just like, or it's just there's a high motion blur or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like it has
No, it has a very specific look to it. Absolutely, yeah.
It almost it's like the visual equivalent of reverb. Like it's just kind of like covering everything. It almost like glistens in a weird way.
Yeah, it like dates itself no matter when it's from.
Yeah. Okay, maybe it's an attempt to make it look as much like the early material as they can.
Yeah.
So like maybe, okay, in 2019, obviously cameras have just gotten a lot better
Sure.
than they were in the 80s, but
trying
it's
to keep
still
that
the
tone.
same fucking show, the
Yeah.
same story ostensibly. So like we got to try and
Maintain
make it
continuity.
look cohesive.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the thought. I don't know.
Maybe.
Now I'm super. I got to do some fucking research on soap operas.
I think we
now.
need to start something.
We should start our own soap opera.
Or at least watching one.
Okay, just watch
I would
it.
also be down to start a soap opera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to assume it's very easy.
I think we could do it.
Yeah. So are there like soap operas on Hulu and like
I don't
Netflix
know. I've
and
never
shit?
looked for any.
Yeah, let's see what our options are. Let's open up the Hulu app here. What do we got? Okay, General Hospital. What a fucking like ambiguous ass just throwaway name. Just it's a general. They can do anything that it's a hospital. It's not a specific kind. Just a general hospital.
Yep. General Hospital.
Okay. So some episodes are available on demand, not the most recent ones.
Okay.
But there are quite a few from season 57. Jesus Christ. 57 seasons. Oh my God.
Which one is this? General Hospital? that you're
General
talking
Hospital,
about?
yeah.
Yeah, it started in 1963.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's fucking crazy.
When did the Twilight Zone start? That was 50s, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You said 63?
Yeah.
Twilight Zone started in 59.
Wow.
What the fuck?
That's crazy, dude.
Holy shit. Okay, so is that the longest running TV series? Are soap operas even considered for that sort of thing?
I have no idea.
What the this is fascinating. Oh my God. I don't know if this is interesting for anybody else, but
Right.
like the mechanics of TV are very interesting to
Yeah,
me.
I agree. It is the world's third longest running scripted drama.
So because there has to be different categories because obviously like Meet the Press has been on for
Okay.
60 years.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
But that's not like a scripted
Right.
show. But scripted primetime shows. I think
Okay, that's
that's
another
what
thing.
most people talk about whenever
Gotcha,
because
gotcha,
obviously
gotcha.
they're the longest is The Simpsons. But,
Sure, yeah.
Holy shit. So Family Guy is also in the top 10 at this point.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's number 6.
Jeez, so much Family Guy, dude.
There's so much
Family
Dude,
Guy.
Okay, actually, this actually brings up something I was thinking about the other day, and I want to talk about. So, I finally figured out like what my problem with Family Guy is.
Okay.
Like I finally been able to pinpoint it. So it's not necessarily that I don't think it's funny, which I would generally say. I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of the
Yeah.
show anymore. At one point, I was definitely really into it, but
Sure.
obviously there is so much of it, and like it's in the top 10 longest running
Yeah.
primetime
Yeah.
TV shows of all time. So obviously, when there are that many episodes and also that many jokes per minute,
Oh, yeah.
that is such an absurdly high volume of jokes. Some of them are bound to be funny.
Yeah, definitely.
Like that's just going to happen
Yeah.
when there are that many jokes. Some of them are bound to land. But I would say generally there are probably more misses than hits, at least for me. But so I figured out what bothers me, and it is that it lies in their need to be edgy. But the way that they've chosen to be edgy has changed over the years. And I think kind of both versions of what they've done are obnoxious to
Yeah,
me. So the first 2 seasons, while they were pretty daring and pretty out there, I wouldn't necessarily call them edgy because it really
Maybe for the
was
time.
just like maybe for the time, maybe for 1999 standards, but
And being on primetime.
yeah,
TV.
exactly, being on Fox and everything. But and I guess the point of comparison was The Simpsons.
Sure.
And it probably was more edgy than The Simpsons, but they kind of decided to lean into their edgy perception from like season 3 to like season 7. And the way they decided to be edgy was just shock humor,
Yeah,
which
definitely.
I find I have zero patience for it.
Yeah.
Just the like, we're gonna make a joke about rape. Whoa,
Yeah.
aren't we fucking controversial? And it's like boring, so boring. But anyways, so they did that for a while. But then from like season 7 until now, while they do still make some like edgy jokes,
Yeah.
it's kind of largely been ditched in favor of self-parody, but self-parody to the point of not caring about their characters. Like
Okay.
every character is just kind of a vehicle for jokes. Like
Yeah.
it's just kind of you're obviously not watching Family Guy for the stories.
Sure, yeah,
like
definitely.
yeah, they do technically have a narrative, but it's not all that interesting or
No,
that well thought out. With a few exceptions, some of the time travel episodes are kind of neat, but even then, each character is just kind of there so that they can be a mouthpiece for a joke
Yeah.
when necessary.
A particular type of joke.
Yeah, a particular
every
type of
character
joke or
represents
whatever.
a type of joke.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, but even then, those waters have gotten pretty muddied over the years.
I believe it.
So I think that's the main thing is that it's like, oh yeah, like we're so fucking cool. We don't even care about our characters. And
Right.
it's like, well then why have them? what is the point then? Like, I think
Because you guys won't let this show end.
Oh yeah, exactly. So it's like fucking like a show like Nichijou, specifically the first season. Like you had a cast of recurring characters, but it was more or less a sketch show. Like each thing was just its own little self-contained bit. There might be some crossover here or there, but like more or less, it's a series of bits with this a kind of a rotating cast of characters, and you kind of got to know them through those bits. So that was like kind of a cool way to build out the characters, but also it didn't really have a consistent narrative. That changed in the second season. They kind of started to tie things together a little bit more, and that worked really well too, but it worked well because we already knew who these characters were from the first season.
Right.
So like it was a really cool, smart transition. But so it's like, yeah, you could just do season 1 Nichijou, like have these characters, but just do bits, because that's clearly what you care about. You care about just short jokes, and they do it pretty well sometimes. So it's like, why not just lean into
Make
your
it a sketch
strengths?
show, basically.
Yeah, like lean into your strengths instead of giving us this weird like shadow of a narrative. Like why even bother with it? Like again, like you're clearly, the narrative is just a vehicle for cutaways.
Yeah.
So just cut out the middleman and just do the cutaways.
Sure, yeah.
Like just do that shit. And it's not as if Seth MacFarlane hasn't literally already done
That's
it.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, because he had the cavalcade of cartoon comedy. Yeah, like it was just Family Guy stuff.
Animated, sketch show.
And it was fine. Like it was fine enough for what he was trying to do, I guess. So like,
I
why
remember
not just do that?
seeing it for the first time and thinking it was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, no, I was super into it whenever I was younger.
Yeah.
When I think back on those sketches now, some of them are like, that's funny, and some of them are just like, eh.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think again, you can say that about
Most
just
of Family Guy as well,
Family Guy
yeah.
as a whole. Yeah, and it's also interesting too to compare that to just how much better American Dad is. Like I think American Dad is a lot of ways the antithesis to Family Guy, because one, with that, it's not the same writers or producers.
Right.
It's a totally different team. It's just Seth MacFarlane created the series, so like the art style is the same. And then obviously he voices Stan and Roger. But other than that, it's a pretty much completely different team doing a different type of show.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah,
it's
and
more of like the kind of overarching narrative. You don't have
like
a lot of
each
the
episode is
cutaways.
mostly self-contained, but you can tell they actually do care about the characters, and they are all distinct from one another. They're not all making the same types of jokes over and over again, and there also aren't cutaways in that show. So they weave their jokes into the plot. So it's like, it's just interesting to see like how much better that is. I still wouldn't say American Dad is like an amazing show, but I definitely enjoy it a hell of a lot more than Family Guy.
Yeah, definitely so. I've kept a little bit more up with American Dad than I have Family Guy. I don't think I've watched any new Family Guy
in a long time.
a very long time, yeah. I mean, it's just a very different show.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
the 2000s for TV and animation was a very interesting time. Like some really great shit came out of that era, but also a lot of stuff that just did not age particularly well. Like, when was the last time you watched Robot Chicken?
Oh yeah, no, not in a very long time.
Yeah, so I often will just throw on Adult Swim to go to sleep because it's just, normally it's like, Bob's Burgers, cool. I can fall asleep to this very easily. And Bob's Burgers is great, but it's just really not good. Like, it's really not good.
Yeah, I never really remember enjoying Robot Chicken very well.
I was so into it whenever I was like, and it was clearly just made for like tweens and teenagers that wanted to watch an edgy show in the 2000s, and it's just like, oh man, they're making jokes about dicks and Final Fantasy? Whoa!
Right.
It was just...
I am fascinated by the creation of that show, regardless of whether or not I think it's funny.
Yeah.
The way that they actually build the sets and the characters and all that stuff.
And all of that is cool.
Truly fascinating.
And it's definitely like more recent episodes. You can tell they have mastered it.
Yeah.
Like the show definitely looks pretty good now. Like they definitely do that sort of thing pretty well.
Yeah.
So I can definitely give them credit there.
For sure.
But
I heard Seth Green talking about his studios and how they have like 10 different buildings that are all, each one is like focused on a different set piece for each episode. And they have people building like the characters for each episode individually and stuff like that.
Nice.
And I was like, that's so much work for these 15-minute segments that does anybody still even watch it?
It's still going. Like it's still on. I think, okay, so Squidbillies is the longest running show that Adult Swim's ever had.
Okay.
I think I could be wrong, but I think Robot Chicken is second.
Interesting. I would have expected the opposite.
I think maybe third, because I think Aqua Teen Hunger Force, if you count its several spin-off series, which really weren't spin-offs, they just had different names, and it was the same fucking show.
Yeah.
I think if you count all of those, that might
be
have
second
more than Robot. But even then, I could be wrong.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't find Aqua Teen Hunger Force funny either.
Yeah, Aqua Teen, I was super about it whenever I was younger. Going back to it now, it really just varies based on the episode. Some of it's like, this is fine, but like there are definitely episodes that I still really enjoy that I think are pretty funny. You can tell they just had a lot more freedom than something like Family Guy or American Dad, because obviously Adult Swim just leans into the alt comedy shit and just letting creators do whatever the fuck they want, more or less. So, it's all different.
Yeah, I remember Harvey Birdman from when I was a kid
good.
too.
Yeah, we watched it like whenever we first moved up here.
Yeah.
When we were living in Hermitage, I remember
hilarious,
like we spent like 3 days
Yeah,
doing
just-
nothing but just watching Harvey Birdman.
it's-
Did you know there's a Harvey Birdman video game
Really?
on the Wii?
Weird.
It's really weird.
Huh.
Yeah,
no, I
it's-
did not know that.
It's the entire original voice cast aside from Stephen Colbert.
Okay,
Because obviously
yeah.
he was the most in-demand person and probably just didn't have time. But yeah, everyone else returned to do their voices for the game. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a Phoenix Wright type game.
Yeah.
But if it is, I would love to fucking play
sure,
it.
dude.
I actually want to
That's-
look up like
yeah.
what it is. This is strange. Okay. So the Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law video game released for the Wii.
Okay.
It came out in 2008.
All right.
But it also released on the PS2. And this was 2 years after the PS3 came out. They put
That's
it on the
weird.
Wii and the PS2.
I have a PlayStation 2.
Do you really?
Yeah. We should try and find.
Dude, okay.
Harvey
shit.
Birdman.
Yeah. Okay, so the game is played like the Ace Attorney Capcom court-themed series. Oh, yeah, and this was made by Capcom.
Okay, word. Nice.
Okay, collecting evidence from crime scenes and making arguments during trials, but with the Harvey Birdman type of humor and feel. The game also includes cameos by Street Fighter characters within 5 cases. Thanks to the show's simple flash process, the game was able to closely mimic the show's animation.
That sounds awesome.
That's fucking
honestly.
awesome.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah. Reception is not great.
Okay.
Let's see here. IGN gave it a 7.4.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not that bad. Let's see here. The game received mixed reviews on all platforms. According to Metacritic, Maxim gave the game a score of 3 stars out of 5 and said that it was actually funny and, unlike the Simpsons games, actually fun to play.
Okay.
The gameplay is lifted straight out of Capcom's own Phoenix Wright series. It's short enough that you can finish it in a couple of nights, but all the show's characters are in effect, along with their respective voice actors, again, aside from Stephen Colbert. Finally, the game's budget. It dropped at around $30.
Okay.
And so, so there was like
Yeah.
no reason to object. And then AV Club gave the PS2 version C-, saying it was a decent rental, but not a wise investment. Whereas the New York Times, who apparently reviews video games sometimes, I just found out, called it just plain bad.
Okay.
But they said that in reference to the game design, which is like, okay, but if it's just a Phoenix Wright clone,
yeah.
do you also hate the Phoenix Wright games?
Sure,
because like
maybe
those
so.
are stupid fun. I really enjoy the Phoenix Wright games. But all of this reminded me. So you said you had a PS2.
Yeah.
This reminded me. So whenever I was in Texas,
Uh-huh.
Angie and I went to what we thought was a barcade, but it actually wasn't really that. But it was still very cool. It was a place called Nerdvana.
Okay.
Which I hate that name.
Yeah,
but,
it's awful.
Yeah, it's a terrible name. But it's cool. So it's in Frisco.
Okay.
And it is right next to the Gearbox offices.
Okay.
And because they're based in Frisco. I mean, obviously, if their office is right there. We were looking at the menu, and I was like, okay, there's a lot of Borderlands shit on this menu. So I feel like there's probably, I mean, obviously Gearbox is right over here, so maybe they're just pandering to them or something.
Yeah.
And then as I was looking over the menu, Randy Pitchford walked in, and I was like, yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
How funny.
And then Angie was like, is that guy? I was like, yeah, he's a crazy person. I hope he doesn't come over here.
Yeah. Dude, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, there's Randy. So yeah, I guess. And
How
then
funny.
as we were leaving, there was like, they have their own little area. It was called like the Gearbox Clubhouse or whatever. They just
Okay.
have their own like little private table. So I was like, yep, okay. So they've definitely got some kind of partnership here.
So strange. So what was it?
So it was basically a restaurant and bar with a conjoining coffee shop.
Okay.
But the tables were all booths and they all had game consoles at them.
Okay, gotcha.
But it was super cool. Like the chicken sandwich I ordered was fucking bomb.
Nice.
Like, it was a real good,
Love a
chicken,
good
sandwich.
chicken sandwich.
Yeah, it was terrific on a really good bun. It's very soft. It had ham on it initially. I'm not a big ham fan, so
That's
I
true.
subbed it for bacon, and the bacon was just fucking. It was that perfect. In like it was crispy, but not too
Not, like,
crispy. Like, it was
breaking,
still
yeah.
it was still tender, still juicy, but it was crispy. Really good fries too. And then I got some like Assassin's Creed themed drink. It was called the Black Flag.
Cool.
And so my first thought I was like, Black Flag, and I was like,
Right, right.
Assassin's Creed, right? But
All right, this is video games.
yeah, right. Video games. No, but it was like a berry like banana drink
Okay,
with rum,
word.
and it was super good. So we sat down at a table with a GameCube, and
Oh, cool.
it had Super Smash Brothers in it. So
Nice.
Angie and I played a little bit of Smash, and I was like, "Do you guys have like any other games?" And he like gave me the list. One of them was Mario Party. I was like, "Sure, let's do
Oh,
Mario
nice.
Party." Cool. So
Cool.
we'll
Yeah,
do that.
that's good.
And then he came back and he was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I forgot. Someone broke our Mario Party, so we don't actually have that." I was like, "But here are the other options." And so he showed them to me. And one of them was SSX Tricky.
Dude, yes.
And
Oh
so-
my god, I loved SSX, dude.
So we
Oh my
played some
God.
SSX Tricky, which I had never played before.
Really?
So
That was the first one I played.
it is the most deliciously 2000s thing
Yeah,
that I have ever
definitely, dude.
played. Like, it was my first time playing it. I had a fucking blast. It was
Yeah.
so much fun.
It's such a fun game. I remember I loved Simon. Did you?
I don't remember any of their names.
He was like just super edgy dude.
Okay, yeah.
Crazy hair, and his name was spelled like PSYMON.
Perfect.
And that was my dude.
That's great.
Because I played a ton of Tricky and then also a ton of SSX3.
Okay.
Were the two games that I played. And I really love those games because of like the costumes and the boards
Yeah,
and the
yeah, no.
customization and
There
all
was
that stuff.
I was really impressed, because when you boot up the game initially, it's like, okay, this menu design ain't great, but
Yeah.
once you like get into it, it's just like they really did give you a lot.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they really gave you a lot of shit because like each character had like 5 or 6 different boards
Oh, yeah.
that they could get, if not even more than that. And then there's different outfits that you can get, and there seem to be quite a lot of those. But also like there were a lot of characters. Obviously,
Yeah.
you couldn't access them all at the beginning, but there was like a pretty solid chunk of characters you could
Definitely.
choose from with a lot to unlock. And then there seemed like there were a lot of courses too.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, there's really a lot
quite a
here.
bit of
Like,
game, yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting though, because like when you were playing those games as a kid, like I discovered a lot of music that way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, so I didn't play a ton of SSX, but I played the fucking shit out of Nintendo snowboarding game, 1080 Avalanche.
Oh, yeah, mhm.
So that was a GameCube exclusive. That was how I found out about Cauterize.
Oh,
And
yeah, that's
I
right.
still maintain a very underrated, like pop punky, alt rocky group of the 2000s. Like never really got a ton of traction, but like, yeah, their shit's good. Check it out. They're on Spotify. But I was so fucking into that game. But like, I remember it had Cauterize on there, but it also had, in hindsight, it's like not great, but at the time it had Finger 11 and Seether.
Oh, nice.
And so like I got really into Finger 11 because of
Yeah.
that game, which I've actually revisited the tracks from the game that I
Oh,
was really
really?
into. They're very goofy. They are not that bad.
What
though.
songs were they?
It was one called Good Times,
Yeah, I don't know that.
and then one called Another Light.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't know those.
Those 2 songs are from their self-titled album, which had One Thing.
Okay, yeah,
That was
I
the
knew One
big
Thing for
Yeah,
sure.
fucking. I actually heard when we were in Virginia, like for the wedding, we stopped at a Wawa, and One
Okay.
Thing was playing in there,
that's
like
funny.
really loud. I was like, "What is happening right now?" Like, fuck, if I traded it all.
Yeah, no, I used to bang that song.
But I will say, as far as like early 2000s like butt rock stuff goes, one, it's really not that buddy.
Okay.
It's not that bad. Like the music is not super terrible. His vocals are the main drawback going back to
Yeah.
it. It's like but even then though, it's not like I would rather listen to Finger 11 than like Nickelback or
yeah.
like Chad
Sure.
Kroger's
Yeah,
solo
sure.
shit. Like it's definitely better than that. I also think it's better than like Seether.
Dude, those were all right in the pocket of the stuff that I listened to whenever I was in junior high.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, though, and again at the time I was like, oh my god, this game has such good music.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously whoever handled the soundtrack knew what to give people. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a really specific memory of when we lived in Hermitage. Me, you, and Tyler, we were hanging out in your room, and you were playing something on the Wii. I don't remember what you may have been. Honestly, you may have been playing fucking Brawl or something like that. But I remember you were doing that, and then I downloaded the GameCube emulator on my computer, like the Dolphin emulator. And I remember I was playing 1080 Avalanche with a PS3 controller.
Oh, nice.
And we were listening to Koji.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, I don't know why, but like it's a super specific memory that like sticks out in my brain like that because that was the last time I played it.
Yeah, that's
and that
funny.
was a really nostalgic game. But I remember really enjoying it like at that
Even
time.
then,
And that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
5 or 6 years ago, but like not terribly long ago. Obviously, a lot closer than the early 2000s when it came out. But yeah, like I remember thinking the level design was really cool and like the mechanics were good. I remember there's one level in particular in which the end of the level you ended at a giant ice sculpture of Mario. That was just like it's
That's
Nintendo,
cool.
baby.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, man. Yeah, so many memories of just GameCube games in general.
Yeah.
I played the shit out of Luigi's Mansion and Super Mario Sunshine.
Dude, Mario Sunshine is such a good fucking game. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, God, do I want to play Sunshine again?
Dude, same.
When was the last time you like watched Sunshine gameplay? Like, when was the last time you actually looked at it? It's still a gorgeous fucking game.
Is it?
Like, it fucking pops, dude. Like, it's such a great looking game. Like, obviously, fewer polygons or whatever shit.
Yeah.
But like, now the art direction is so good and like all of the colors are still stupid vibrant even by today's standards. Like, it's such a great looking game with really well thought out level design. Like, it was such a wonderful successor to Mario 64.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And I mean, introducing new mechanics and different,
like Flood was your little pal, and he was
pushing
awesome.
the boundaries on Mario platforming for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the music was fantastic
God,
as well. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm sure, like even McKay's probably has GameCubes for relatively cheap. Honestly,
they're like $60.
That's what I would think. Yeah,
not even 60. I think they're like $40 or $50.
It would be
They're
worth
not even
it.
that expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to go back and play some of those games.
Yeah. I really want to go back and play Sonic Adventure 2 on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Because the last time I played it on the GameCube was like when I was a child, but I have played the game more recently than that. I played the PS3 port, and the PS3 port fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's terrible. It's like like the controls barely. But yeah, like never mind the fact that the game itself
It's
sucks.
super buggy.
Like the game itself is not that polished, and the level design isn't that great. And even the controls aren't amazing. The PS3 version is so much worse than the original. Like, it was so fucking bad.
Such a beating, dude. We played
we sunk hours into that PS3 port, and it just, like... I remember specifically the last Rouge the Bat level. We played for so long, because didn't it... I think it had a time limit, and it was just finding
the one
that
that's, like,
other
in
emerald.
space?
Yeah, it was one in space with, like, the little moons. Proto Mario Galaxy. Yeah.
I mean, I also played a ton of that whenever I was a kid, too. I love that game.
Yeah.
But also just the first Sonic Adventure I loved as well. But yeah, revisiting the PS3 port was like...
It's like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Sucks.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, like, was it always this bad?
Yeah.
Like, I know the game didn't age particularly well, but, like, it wasn't this bad, was it?
I mean, whenever we were young, I don't think that we even had a gauge, you know what I mean? So,
well, and especially
it's hard to tell.
Yeah, and I think, as I understand it, it is generally a known thing that like the ports of the Sonic Adventure games are pretty bad. Because like Super Mega just played through the first Sonic Adventure, and at one point they mentioned that it was the PC port, and the PC port is the worst version of it.
Yeah, that's right.
I will say though, in defense of 2000 Sonic, the Sonic Advanced games, in particular Sonic Advance 2 actually does hold up.
Okay.
That was actually the first video game I ever got that was mine.
Is that a Game Boy Advance game?
It was Game Boy Advance.
Okay, yeah.
The first console I ever got that was actually mine was the Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
And I actually, again, have a very specific memory of going with my dad to GameStop, getting a Game Boy Advance and Sonic Advance 2, and then trying to play it on the car ride home and then getting car sick because I'm just that way. Like I always have been.
Yeah.
So, but like I remember like, oh yeah, Sonic.
Right.
Just
Yeah, you
like,
want to play so bad. And then it makes you sick.
Yep.
That's funny.
But then I got home and it was fine.
Yeah. I actually did. I saw that game played a little bit the other day. Giant Bomb was doing a thing where they played through some Game Boy Advance games.
Oh, cool.
And I saw them playing that, and it's pretty.
Yeah, it's good. Like it's very tight, responsive Sonic level design and like platforming. Like it's just peak Sonic. Like it's good. All right, well, you want to wrap this shit up?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. If you like the show and you want to support us, we're 100% listener funded, so you can support us via Patreon, patreon.com/Nugatory. You get early access to these podcast episodes. You get early access to my video essays and music and visualizers and all that cool shit. Just as cheap as $1 a month, however much you want to contribute, whatever you think is fair. But we'll see you guys next week.